The Epistle to the Hebrews, Part 16, A Warning from the Wilderness. 3. The example of Israel in the wilderness revisited. A. Another appeal is made. 1. Quoting again from Psalms 95, 7-8. 2. The Hebrew writer applies the quotation to Christians. A. The need to hear God's voice. Remember Hebrews 1, 1 and 2, and 2, 1-4. B. That is, hear with a desire to hearken, for they can easily be hardened their hearts as in rebellion. B. The need for Christians to believe and obey. 1. In the case of the Israelites, who was it that rebelled? A. All those who came out of Egypt, save Joshua and Caleb. B. Though led by Moses, they still rebelled. We may have been delivered by Christ from the bondage of sin, but rebellion is still possible. 2. In the case of the Israelites, with whom was God angry for 40 years? A. Those who sinned. B. And who died in the wilderness as a result of their lack of faith. If we become hardened through the deceitfulness of sin, shall we escape judgment? 3. In the case of the Israelites, who did God not allow in the promised land? A. Those who did not obey. B. Those who developed unbelief. Shall we enter our promised rest if we disobey through unbelief? Conclusion. 1. When the Apostle Paul related some of the same experiences of Israel in the wilderness, he wrote, "Now all these things happened to them as examples, and they were written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the ages have come." 1 Corinthians 10:11. 2. It is for our own admonition that we have such warnings as that found in our text. A. For the deceitfulness of sin is just as strong today. B. For the hardening of one's heart is just as dangerous today. C. For departing from God is just as possible today. Thus, the potential for falling short of our promised rest is just as much a reality for us as it proved to be for the Israelites in the wilderness. 3. That is why we need to exhort one another daily. A. To encourage one another to remain strong in faith, Hebrews 3:19. B. To encourage one another to remain strong in obedience, Hebrews 3:18. Have you exhorted your brother or sister lately? Finally, did you notice how faith and obedience were used interchangeably in these last two verses? These terms are not opposed to one another, for in fact Paul himself wrote about obedience to the faith, Romans 1:5 and 16:26. Faith is dead unless there is obedience, James 2:17 and 26. And so those who truly believe will obey. That is why Jesus can be described as the author of eternal salvation to all who obey him, Hebrews 5:9. Have you obeyed Jesus by opening his gospel? Romans 10:16, 2 Thessalonians 1:7 and 8, and 1 Peter 4:17. Here ends our study on the Epistle to the Hebrews, Part 16, A Warning from the Wilderness.